My ex-husband's betrayal ruined my life. I want to tell his family everything.
Tell him.
Go on, tell him. So, I, 41 female, and my ex-husband, Jesse, 42 male, just finalized our divorce in October. So sorry. We had been together for over 20 years, married for 18, and we have 2 boys. By the way, this comes from user Broken Butterfly 1105. And if you want to submit your own stories, just like this one, go to r/okstorytime subreddit.
And this is direct from the OK Storytime subreddit. So this could be you guys.
In December 2023, my ex insisted he wanted a divorce. We had been growing distant and had discussed it multiple times that year. I thought we were being open and honest about our feelings. I wanted the relationship to work, and he claimed to want the same. Turns out, I was wrong. 2 weeks before Christmas, he said he wanted a divorce. Merry Christmas. He just didn't want to be married anymore. He wasn't happy and didn't love me at all. He wanted to tell the kids the day after Christmas?
Is this the Grinch? Did you marry the Grinch?
Do you just like being a jerk? He made me wake them up before he went to work.
Oh my God, you married the freaking Grinch. Why do people do this?
He told them and left for work. He walked out the door while our kids sat crying, leaving me to take care of the boys alone. He was moved out by the first week of January. That was a little quick after 18 years.
He's cheating.
He has to
gotta be cheating.
Well, that's insane.
Both. I think he is both cheating and also he is a psychopath.
This is crazy because you have kids, 2 lovely boys, it seems
2
like.
kids, and who he doesn't care about at all.
Through the divorce process, I found out he gambled our kids' college money away through day trading. After looking at documents, I realized the money was gone. He was so bad, he even took out loans to cover his losses. He put a second mortgage on our house a month before he demanded divorce to consolidate all of our debt. We settled the divorce in 10 months. I'm not happy with the settlement, but I had an expensive lawyer that didn't do anything. My ex pays alimony and child support. Great. I get the house and the second mortgage debt as well. He is supposed to have the boys after school until bedtime for visitation 2 nights a week. This was also his request. I have made it clear he can see the kids whenever he wants. Out of the 14 hours of a week he is supposed to have them, he maybe takes them for about 10. They do not stay over at his apartment. He doesn't typically ask to see them outside his days. There have been several times he didn't take them because of work. I have been trying to move on with my life. I just want to be a good mom, ensuring my kids are happy and healthy. I don't discuss the divorce with them. I never say anything negative about their father. I even make excuses for him when he doesn't have them on his days or he drops them off early. Regardless of my feelings, I want our children to have a good relationship with their father. I don't think they're your father's.
I don't think he cares.
I don't think he cares.
Yeah. I do think it's good that you're not like bashing him or anything. But yeah, like he clearly, they probably don't like him because of his own behavior, not anything that you said.
That's not on you, Mom.
Yeah.
Mom, you're doing the best a mom can do. But
they probably hate him because he ruined Christmas.
Yeah. Yesterday, I got test results back from a routine exam. I didn't think much of it. I've always made sure to get checked out and always had normal test results. Yesterday's results were not normal. Turns out I have a spicy sleep disease that is not curable.
Of course he freaking cheated.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I'd only been with my husband the last 20 years. I never expected this. After I spoke to my doctor, I immediately called my ex. I demanded to know about the affair. He played dumb at first, but eventually answered my questions. He admitted he began an affair during a work trip he went on in August 2023. He asked his company to send him on that trip. I was upset at the time he asked to be sent out of town, but he insisted he needed to go help advance his career. It made life incredibly stressful for me. School was just starting. My kids had sport commitments, and I was starting a new job with a lot of responsibilities. I knew in my gut something was off, but I had trusted him and I thought I was being irrationally anxious. Turns out my gut was right. He either works for this woman or he took her with him on the trip. Either way, he has put his job at risk by doing this. He planned to break our marriage vows and knows he was putting our family's livelihood at risk. All while I was being the good little wife at home juggling the life we created by myself. He admitted to having unprotected spicy sleep with this woman. No doy. No, I don't think you need to. Oh yeah, I should get that off my chest.
Yeah, I got that.
He said there was only one affair, but I don't believe him. He showed no remorse for what he did or how his actions affected my life. I felt like I was talking to a stranger. He has lied about so much over the last 4 years. I just don't believe anything he says anymore, and you shouldn't.
You should not.
I am devastated and incredibly hurt. I accepted the divorce. I didn't fight or make things difficult. I tried to treat it as a business negotiation and keep my feelings out of it. I wanted to be amicable for our children, even though I was heartbroken. Now I understand how thoroughly he torched our lives. He day traded away the money we saved for our children and our savings. He put us in debt, which now I inherited. He had at least one affair, again, which we don't know, and which also resulted in me having health issues for the rest of my life. His decision also made it so I don't know if I can keep my house. I can't even get a second job to earn more money, or he can't take me back to court to alter his support payments. I feel like he dropped a dynamite all over my life and lit a match on his way out the door. Now, I want his parents and siblings to know what he has done to me and our children.
Yes.
I want them to know the kind of person he is. I think they should know about his gambling problem, his affair, and his carelessness with my health and my life. Don't forget about your kids. I want them to know about his lack of involvement with our kids. Yeah. And you can always involve your kids with us, maybe sometimes. By listening to full episodes with stories just like this, just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. It looks like we have a little bit more left. Some comments and everything, but I'll go ahead and read them. I wasn't a perfect wife, but I tried to be a supportive, loving wife our entire marriage. I truly loved him, and I thought he was my best friend. I can't believe how wrong I was. I want to be clear that I do not plan to tell my children anything. I believe they need their father. We have been lucky that they are happy and thriving even after the divorce. I will not compromise their mental well-being for my own wants. My in-laws all live in another state and have low contact with our kids. We are on good terms, but it's Christmas gifts and semi-annual visits due to the distance. So, would I be the a-hole if I told my ex's family the details of our divorce? Side note, I listen to OK Storytime almost every day. I've watched every episode on YouTube. Thank you for helping me laugh on difficult days and distracting me from reality for a little bit.
Of course. We thank you for listening to us. We really appreciate that.
Thank you. We have some comments.
Yeah.
I'm going to go into some of these comments.
And I do have some last advice.
Yes. Well, first and foremost, let's before we go into the comments.
Sure.
A-hole.
No. You are not the a-hole. However,
yes.
I think that if you don't want your kids to know, you should be careful about who you tell and careful how you tell it to his family members. Because you could be like, hey.
And then they could take sides.
You know, you get like, hey, this is like, maybe you just talk to his parents. You say, hey, this happened. Please don't tell my kids this. I would like this to remain between us. So just like making that really clear so it doesn't get back to the kids. I'm sure at some point they will probably find out.
Especially when they get older.
I would say you should have a conversation with your husband and say, like, this is going to get out at some point. You should probably, I would like it to come from you.
But it's also like...
but also finding that age appropriate way. You don't necessarily have to tell them that he cheated on you now. But it's like finding those ways to have that conversation.
I just don't like that it's not necessarily because if your kids are too young, I get it. But like you're feeding that thing. I know you said for their well-being and their mental health, which I love. That's great. But you're just feeding this, I guess, not this imaginary figure, but like this fake figure that their father is, that he's a good person.
Well, I think they already kind of know that he's not the best guy because he did, again, leave them on Christmas.
But he also took their college loans or their college funds.
Yeah.
And he gambled it all away and he got nothing out of it.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he's a terrible person that, again, maybe down the line maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe they won't. But like having that image of like, oh, I'm looking up to my father.
Mm.
Like you're looking up to a kind of a terrible person.
Yeah.
Which I don't want that on anybody, to look up to somebody like, oh, I'm inspired by that.
Mm-hmm.
That person inspires me to be like that.
Yeah.
So maybe that doesn't need to be a conversation down the line, but that's again on you to make that judgment and how you want to go about that with your ex and your family.
Mm-hmm.
So
true that.
Well, let's go into the comments. Comment 1. I guess I'm not sure what smearing his name with your kids and his family is going to do to rectify your situation. If he is bad-mouthing you, I would definitely set the record straight. Otherwise, I'm not sure what that will do for you. I'm not going to tell you to be the bigger person. I'm just not. I definitely would tell his parents and siblings just exactly what he did to your family. They probably know to some extent. And it would also depend on how you get along with them. Perhaps they will step up and participate in your kids' lives if that is favorable for you. You definitely don't need to be secretive about what your husband did to save his reputation with them. Absolutely not. As far as the kids go, talk to a therapist first and see what they think. It might be a good idea to tell them the truth in an age-appropriate manner and to do so without bad-mouthing their dad. OP replies, I don't plan on smearing his name with our kids. I have never and will never badmouth their dad while any kids are around. My issues do not need to become their issues. Regardless of what he did to me, he is their father and they have a good relationship. When it comes to his family, I want them to know who he really is. He presents himself to the world as a kind, quiet, hardworking guy that takes care of his family. I have no idea what he has told his family about me. My sisters-in-law have contacted me a few times. They know I am upset about the divorce. At the time we hadn't settled the divorce, I was afraid of saying anything at all and making my situation worse. Now it's all said and done, I don't have to be careful with what I say to other people, except the kids. I just want people to know how horrible he really is. Feels so unfair that he just disappeared from our lives and I had to pick up all the pieces of the mess he left behind. I wasn't going to say anything until I found out about the affair yesterday. Now I'm just so angry. He wasn't even sorry. He never apologized or showed any kind of remorse for what he did. He acted kind of annoyed, like he didn't understand why I was bothering him about that phone call. Comment 2, not the a-hole. I would sue him for giving you the STD. Can you do that?
Maybe, if he lied about it, yeah.
Okay. OP replied, unfortunately, I can't sue unless I can prove he did it intentionally. I just have to live with it and work towards a healthy, happy life for myself. Comment 3, which looks like the last comment, if the kid's money was theirs and not from you and husband, try to find a free or low-cost attorney to sue him on behalf of your children. He breached his fiduciary duty to them. They would be entitled to the money. OP replies, it happened while we were married with marital funds. It was college money in Charles Schwab accounts. It was making more money there than it would have in a college account. He owned a stock in a private company that was doing very well. The plan was that we just let it sit until graduation. I didn't know that he had been pulling from the account to fund his habit until he demanded the divorce and I discovered what happened to the money. The magistrate didn't give a damn about it. The day of our pretrial was awful. I was told to settle in the next 2 weeks or we'd go to trial and we wouldn't be happy with the outcome. I had no other choice than to settle. My lawyer was crap and I'd already paid her $7,000. I had to go through all the documents myself, even finding a $6,000 mistake in my favor. It was incredibly stressful. I did sign the papers and was trying to move on from all of it. I was willing to let it all go in favor of co-parenting for the sake of our kids. Now, I just feel defeated. I don't want to spend the rest of my life alone. And I feel like I have this ticking time bomb inside of me. I have so much to figure out. I'm just very overwhelmed with all of it. And I hope I can wade my way through it and make the smartest decisions I can for my future and my children. And that is the end of that story.
If you want more stories like this, search for our podcast, OK Storytime, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.